Hi everyone, I'm Angela, and today we're going to talk about words and idioms in English that derived from Greek mythology. First of all, what is Greek myth? Greek mythology is the body of myth originally told by the ancient Greeks and a genre of ancient Greek folklore. These stories concern the origin and nature of the world, the lives and activities of deities, heroes, and mythological creatures, and the origins and significance of the ancient Greeks' own cult and ritual practices. Words from Greek myth. Atlas. The English word atlas means the book of maps, and it comes directly from a Greek myth. Atlas was one of the most famous titans, the son of Iapetus and the Oceanid Asia, or possibly Clymene. He was the leader of the Titan rebellion against Zeus, and he got a fitting punishment after the end of War of Titans. He was condemned to eternally hold up the sky. From this derives the modern meaning of Atlas. It is a commonly used icon in Western culture as a symbol of strength or stoic endurance. He is often shown kneeling on one knee while supporting an enormous round globe on his back and shoulders. Cloth. In English, the word cloth means a fabric or material often used for clothing. This has a Greek work origin in the story of Clotho, the youngest of the three Fates, who spun the thread of life. She was the daughter of Zeus and Themis. Chaos. The word chaos means disorder and randomness. It comes from the Greek myth of chaos, the void from state preceding the creation of the universe or cosmos, in the Greek creation myth. Charity. Charity means selfless giving of help to others who are in need. This word comes from the story of Charis, one of the three graces in Greek myth. The graces were goddesses of beauty, kindness, life, creativity, and nature. Chronology. The English word chronology refers to the order of events in time. It's also related to chronic, which is generally something that persists for a person's lifespan. Both have Greek word origins in the story of Kronos, the god of time. Kronos was the king of the Titans and the god of time, in particular time when viewed as a destructive or devouring force. He ruled the cosmos during the Golden Age after castrating and deposing his father Uranus. In fear of a prophecy that he would in turn be overthrown by his own son, Kronos swallowed each of his children as they were born. His wife Rhea managed to save the youngest, Zeus, by hiding him away on the island of Crete, and fed Kronos a stone wrapped in swaddling clothes. The god grew up, forced Kronos to disgorge his swallowed offspring, and led the Olympians in a 10-year war against the Titans, driving them in defeat into the pit of Tartarus. Erotic. In English, erotic means sexual in nature. This term comes directly from Eros, the Greek god of love and sexual desire. His Roman counterpart was Cupid. In the earliest account, he is a primordial god, while in later accounts he is described as one of the children of Aphrodite and Ares. Echo. An echo is a sound that comes back to you because it reverberates off a surface. The word comes directly from the name of a Greek nymph, Echo. The king of gods, Zeus, loved consorting with beautiful nymphs and often visited them on earth. Eventually, Zeus' wife, Hera, became suspicious and came from Mount Olympus in an attempt to catch Zeus with the nymphs. Echo, by trying to protect Zeus, as he had ordered her to do, endured Hera's wrath, and Hera made her only able to speak the last words spoken to her. So when Echo met Narcissus and fell in love with him, she was unable to tell him how she felt and was forced to watch him as he fell in love with himself. Europe. In English, the word Europe refers to a continent, but that name comes from a Greek myth. Europa was a beautiful princess, and the king of gods, Zeus, fell in love with her. Fury. Fury is a word used to mean strong and even uncontrollable anger. This English word comes from the Greek myth of the Furies, female goddesses of vengeance. Halcyon. The English word halcyon is an adjective used to describe a peaceful and perfect time that occurred in the past. In Greek mythology, a halcyon was a legendary bird that made a nest on the ocean. She had the power to calm the rough winds and waves. Heliotrope. A heliotrope is a kind of plant that turns towards the sun to gather more light. Its name comes from the Greek titan Helios, who controlled the rising and setting of the sun. Hermaphrodite. The word hermaphrodite refers to a person or animal that exhibits physical characteristics of both genders. It comes from the Greek myth of the god Hermaphroditus, son of Aphrodite and Hermes. According to the legend, a nymph fell in love with Hermaphroditus and prayed that she would be united with him. Her prayers were answered and her body joined with his. Hypnosis. Hypnosis means a sleep-like state of consciousness. The word comes from Hypnos, the Greek god of sleep. Hypnos was a primordial deity in Greek mythology, the personification of sleep. He lived in a cave next to his twin brother in the underworld, where no light was cast by the sun or the moon. The earth in front of the cave was full of poppies and other sleep-inducing plants. The river of forgetfulness flowed through the cave. He was the son of Nyx and Erebus. Iridescent. When you use the word iridescent to describe something in English, you are talking about a surface that reflects multiple colors or even a rainbow. This word comes from the Greek goddess of the rainbow, Iris. Lethargy. The English word lethargy means forgetfulness and the lack of energy. It comes from the Greek myth of Lethe, a river that flowed through the underworld. According to the legend, when people died, they would drink water from the river. The river would lead them to forget their past lives. Lycanthrope. The word lycanthrope describes someone who is half man, half wolf. It's a synonym for werewolf, and it's also a Greek origin word. It comes from the myth of LYCANTHROPE, a human transformed into a wolf as punishment for cannibalism. Mentor. In English, a mentor is an aspiring leader or teacher who passes on his or her skills to others. This directly comes from Homer's epic poem, The Odyssey, in which the mythological character of Odysseus entrusted his son's education to a man named Mentor. Morphine. The pain-killing drug called morphine also gets its name from Greek myth. According to legend, Morpheus was the god of sleep and dreams. Music. In English language, music means sound arranged intentionally to be beautiful and harmonious. This comes directly from the Muses, Greek goddesses of the arts and science. Narcissism. The term narcissism refers to extreme love of self or absorption in the self, and it gets its name from a famous Greek myth. The story Narcissus was a beautiful man who fell in love with his own reflection. Nectar. When you're talking about the fruit or flowers, you might use the term nectar, which refers to any sweet plant's secretion. This cool Greek word comes from the favorite drink of the gods and goddesses, also called nectar. Nemesis. In English, nemesis means a villain or the agent of someone's downfall. However, before it was an English word, Nemesis was the Greek goddess in charge of revenge against humans who were arrogant. Ocean. The word ocean means a large body of salt water. It comes from the god of river, Oceanus, the source of the earth's fresh water. Panic. If someone is in a panic, he or she has lost emotional control and is experiencing strong fear. The word comes from the Greek god Pan, who according to legend would cause humans to flee in fear when he chose. Phobia. A phobia is another word related to fear. This time it means something of which someone is irrationally afraid. The word comes from the Greek god of fear, Phobos. Psychology. The science of psychology is the study of human mind and behavior. This term comes from Psyche, the Greek goddess of the soul. Tantalize. When you tantalize someone, you tempt them with something they find almost irresistible. In Greek myth, Tantalus was an evil king. At a feast with the gods and goddesses, he tried to serve up his own son. Enraged, Zeus condemned him to Hades, where he would forever be hungry and thirsty, despite standing in a puddle of water next to a fruit tree that was just out of reach. Typhoon. The term typhoon means a huge rotating tropical storm. The name for this storm comes directly from Typhon. According to Greek mythology, he was the storm giant and the father of all monsters. Zephyr. A soft and gentle west wind is called a zephyr. This weather pattern also gets its name from Greek mythology. Zephyrus was the Greek god of the west wind. Furthermore, Greek mythology has been very influential in Western culture. particularly its arts and literature. Unsurprisingly, some common expressions in English derive from these ancient myths and beliefs. To have an Achilles heel means to have a weakness or vulnerable point. Achilles was a Greek hero and the central character in Homer's epic poem, the Iliad. As a baby, Achilles' mum dunked him in the river Styx, said to have the magical power of making people invulnerable by holding him upside down by his heel. Consequently, Achilles' heel was the only part of his body to be kept dry and, as it turns out, vulnerable. It was at this spot, according to Homer in his work The Iliad, a poisoned arrow launched by Paris, one of the Trojans, hit Achilles, killing him instantly. The Midas touch is another common expression deriving from a Greek myth, describing a near magical ability to succeed at anything one undertakes. The expression originates from a story of King Midas, who is remembered for his ability to turn everything he touched into gold. Pandora's box. Pandora's box is an artifact in Greek myth connected with the myth of Pandora. In modern times, an idiom has grown from it meaning any source of great and unexpected troubles, or alternatively, a present which seems valuable but which in turn reality is a curse. Later depictions of the fatal container have been varied, while some literary and artistic treatments have focused more on the contents of the idiomatic box than on Pandora herself. The container mentioned in the original story was actually a large storage jar, but the word was later mistranslated as box. So that's all for today. Hope you've learnt about the words and idioms derived from Greek mythology. Thanks for watching and please subscribe, like and comment below.